Hey y'all, it is the morning of day 4. I did not come on here and talk about Friday because Friday was a long ass day. Yesterday we got to visit with Cuban artists, many of them in their homes, in their studios where they create their art. Several of them were like award-winning artists. It was very cool to talk to them and see how they work and what they create in person and hear from them, like what were their influences, that sort of thing. And then we stopped by a beach yesterday. Many of you know that I am not a beach person, so, you know, I saw it, but I didn't get in it because why would I? No, I mean, it was fine. It's just not my jam. And then we came back last night and went to a place I didn't even know existed here, Fábrica de Arte. It's kind of an art space / music space. It was like visual art, photographs, paintings. There were live music performances. There were bars. There was a restaurant where we ate dinner, and it seemed like everybody in Havana was there last night. So that was an interesting, really interesting experience. So many of the other people on this trip went out. And that was my plan, was, you know, it's Friday night, I'm gonna stay out, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna party. Shit. I was falling asleep at dinner, so got a taxi. I bet you didn't know that Cuba has its own like Uber-esque app. So they used the app to call me a taxi, a classic car, and he dropped me off here, and I was knocked out last night. Today we are heading out of Havana up into the mountains, I believe, to Viñales. I have never been there before. My previous trip to Cuba, I'd only visited Havana. So this will be new for me, and this is definitely one of the things I was looking forward to doing, was seeing other parts of the country. We're gonna visit a UNESCO tobacco farm where like they don't use any kind of chemicals or anything like that. And there's something else we're gonna do today. I forgot. So getting ready to get on the van to drive out to Viñales. When I was stuck at the airport with my passport confiscated, I remember thinking, this is it. I'm never coming back to Cuba. Like, because my previous trip to Cuba was low-key traumatic, and then this trip, but I think I can back up off that a little bit. I would come back, but I would not do this kind of thing by myself because I don't want to do the research. But the people we have met have all been kind and gracious. One thing that has been reiterated over and over again is that as much as the Cuban people are suffering under the blockade from the US, they are not mad at us individual Americans. They understand that that's a thing between governments. So coming to Cuba like this, spending money directly that is benefiting the people in Cuba, bringing donations to directly benefit people, that is very much appreciated. So yeah, the heat, ooh, it is so fucking hot, and it is December. My previous trip here was in July, and it was so fucking hot. It is not as hot as it was in July, but it is still hot. And I think that's one of the reasons I was so tired yesterday and the day before. And the day before is all day I am hot and I am sweating and I'm trying to stay hydrated. I have not lived this life in like 7-8 years where I was in a place that was so constantly hot like this. So if you come to Cuba, I definitely suggest you come in the winter so you don't die of heat stroke, because there's no way in hell I'd ever come back here in the summer. I'm looking forward to getting back home to Mexico City to temperatures in the 50s instead of in the 90s. So yeah, that's what I got for right now.
Good. Sleep has helped so much. Thank God. Sleep.
Hola, buen día.
Buen día.
Tenemos mapas gratuitos de Viñales y de Cuba si desean.
No.
Hola, buen día. Tenemos mapas gratis de Viñales.
Hola. Hola, buen día.
Just a minute, okay?
We are going to see some corn plantation on both sides. Yucca. Le estaba escribiendo a Rita que ya está ahí.
Tú le dices la carretera aquí.
Here you have the Cuban Ferrari. Sometimes you take the highway and they are in the middle. You take the hard and they don't go so that you can see from here the mountains that we call mogotes. Mogotes were formed by the sedimentation and the accumulation of the seashells and the remain of the animals, the sea animals, because all this area was under the water and immersed. This is limestone, and with the pass of the time, the water and the erosion have been creating beautiful caves inside of the mountain, because the limestone is very soft. It's not a hard rock. Thanks to that, here we have an amazing cave system inside of the mountain, because it's a kind of tree that haven't since the time of the dinosaurs. It's a very old kind of Zika, and is indigenous, it's native of this area of Viñales. So you can see to this one, Indian code. That is a design of architecture developed by the Spaniards when they arrived. They arrived to the same places where they
time is little, but it's been... The chicken and the pork in big lines of 2-3 hours waiting for buy some food at home. Normally we are very fertile. In Cuba you can grow bananas on the garden, tomatoes, almost everything. But because of the bad managing of the government, we have to import rice and beans from Brazil and Vietnam.
¿Aprendiste en la escuela?
Sí, en la escuela, pero de ver se lo aprendí en Bolivia.
Ah, Bolivia. No, aquí yo no le... Yo.
Okay.
Yo voy a... Ya.
Hola.
Bye.
Welcome.
Gracias.
¿Te dejaron solita?
Sí. Perfecto.
One more person. Taylor, you want to, or someone want to join us?
Y'all sure y'all got room for one more person? It doesn't look like it. Solo eres una voz, pues solo
I love that anytime someone's downtime, they're like, cafe?
yeah. One day.
They didn't realize that our group was like 16 people, so they like didn't have a house for me. So
We just were waiting 2 hours. No more.
I wanted to help Jen with okay. I'll remember this one next time. I'm so You're gonna have to drag me. Jenny was like, "Can you take the school supplies?" I was like, "Sure." And
You want coffee? You want rum?
And then you feel bad for saying no, you know, so you're like, "Oh, I'll have a small one." Yeah, I'm just gonna purchase my soda. I'm like, okay. There's only so many like rice, like I'm sorting rice for like.
The tree that I was telling you, the tourist tree.
Oh. Does it?
Nos quitamos, ¿no?
I'm going to explain everything in our farm about the tobacco plantation in the first moment. You're going to see in this moment how is the process, how we replant, how we do the harvest, how we make the dry process, how we make the fermentation, and at the end, in this table, I'm going to show you how I can roll one cigar. Okay? In the second moment of the plantation, you're going to see everything about the coffee, honey, and rum. Okay? So, important, you know Havana Club rum? But Havana Club rum we make it from the sugar cane. In specific, here in Pinal del Rio, in our region, we make the rum not from the sugar cane. We make from the guava fruit. We call ron, but I think it's not ron, because when we make it from the fruit, we call liquor, because it's a little bit sweet. At the end, of course, of the plantation, we take a seed here and we taste everything, okay? To the first moment. In the last part of the field, we have the seed bed. You know seed bed?
Sí.
I'm going to show you how it is, okay? You are ready? Do you have time?
Yes.
Yes. Follow me. Come. First time in Cuba?
No, second
No?
time.
Second time? How long ago?
2018.
2018.
See, so
4 years ago. Before
Yeah.
COVID. What do you think about Cuba now? Different?
it is different.
A little bit?
Just a little.
Oh,
Just a little
big
bit.
difference.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. For us, the COVID was really, really bad. You know, the island closed, and the food was terrible. And now, 1 month ago, 1.5 months ago, we had the hurricane.
Yeah.
For you, what's the same in the United States, but you live in what part?
I live in Mexico.
Ah, in Mexico.
In Mexico City.
Muy pequeño. Tiny, really tiny. And we take the tobacco seed from the tobacco flower, okay? Because when the tobacco plant grows in the field, after 4 months in the top of the plant, you can find the flower. How we do? We cut the flower, we put the flower over the roof in the sun, 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, what happens right? When we break inside the seed, inside the seed bed. It's impossible to put one by one, you know, it's crazy. How we do? We walk inside and we spray the seed over the line, okay? When we finish this moment, we use the grass like a cover. Why like a cover? 3 things. Because in this moment, the sun is really hot for the seed. But also many animals like a chicken or bird eat from the seed. But also when we put the grass over the seed, keep humidity inside the seed bed. And remember, normal season, September, October. In September, in October month, every day we spray water over the grass because it needs high humidity inside the seed bed. Okay? Now, after 2 months, when we remove the grass, what happens? We get something like this. Plant of 20-25 centimeters, like this size. In this moment, we select the best plant from the seed bed because we need replant in the field. How we select the best one? 2 things, size and color. Why? Because after 2 months, you find inside the seed bed few tobacco plant like a yellow color. It's not good quality because it's like a burn, okay? And other element, size. We find few tobacco plant like between 10 and 15 centimeters. It's not good size, only between 20 and 25. How we select the best plant from the seed bed? By hands, one by one. How we replant in the field? One by one, by hands, okay? In this moment, we make the long line in the field. In Spanish, we call surco, bottom part. Which is the best part from the plant? Top. Why top? You don't know? Take more sun. Okay, it's good for the leaf. Okay, so how we do the harvest? By hand, and we use a small knife, and we cut all the plant. In the first moment of the harvest, we cut all the top part in the field. Second moment, after 1 week, all the middle part, and the last moment after 1 week again, all the bottom part. You don't know why between cut 1 week.
More sun.
The nutrients.
More sun.
Sun. Take a bit more sun, the middle part, and take a bit more sun, bottom part. Never is the same quality, but take a bit more sun. It's good for the leaf. Okay? When we finish the harvest in the field, you can find only in the field the small trunk, the small.
Oink, oink.
Come, ladies, take it a shadow. I think the sun is really a little bit hot.
See.
Imagine real moment, all the house, the roof, we use this kind of leaf, the palm tree. Why, when we build the house, guys, we use this kind of leaf? Because when we dry the tobacco leaf inside, we need a little bit hot, but we need a little bit wet, moist. Because if we close all the house, for example, and we use this kind of metal, when you go inside, it's really, really hot. After 3 months, when you touch the tobacco leaf, it's like a powder. It's like a burn. It's not good. For that reason, we need a little bit wet inside the house. Now you see the stick from the wood. After 3 months, what happened inside? All the leaf dry, change the color, take a brown color. Before was green. After this moment, take a brown color. When we finish this moment, family, I think come the bad moment for us. Why the bad moment? Because we have to send to the government 90% of the production. 90, okay? High tax. 90% go to the factory. In the factory, they make industrial fermentation and they make cigars for the exportation. You know, cigar with the brand, with the sale. But here we keep only 10% and we make our artisanal cigar by hands. But without the ring, without brand, without the sale. Okay? Before this moment, fermentation. How we do our fermentation, important. Before fermentation, the tobacco leaf doesn't smell, doesn't taste. After the fermentation, the tobacco leaf take the smell and take the taste. How we do this moment? Easy. Here we have like a family recipe. We use big pot, we use a slow fire, and we put some water inside. We put inside cinnamon, vanilla, honey, lemon juice, a little bit of rum from guava, and some ingredients more. I think you don't need now, okay? After 50-55 minutes, we prepare like infusion. When the infusion is ready, we take the tobacco leaf and we put the tobacco leaf over the big table from the wood. We take the ingredient and we spray the ingredient over the leaf. After this moment, when you come now inside family, you're going to see few tobacco leaf like a demonstration. In this moment, don't have good quality, okay? Because it's too dry. It's not good. But in the same way, you see the tobacco leaf, but also the stem. You see the diagonal cut, because we used to remember a small knife. When we finish the harvest, we put like a hang over the stick, okay? In this way, we put the leaf inside the house. Remember, how long? 3 months. After 3 months, fermentation, ingredient over the leaf. After the ingredient, we make this packet, please. In Cuba family, we call tercio, and we use also the leaf from the palm tree. In Cuba, we call yagua. Why we use this kind of leaf family? Because for us, it's like a natural humidor. Keep humidity inside the packet, okay? So remember, ingredient over the leaf. After we put the leaf inside, we close the packet. How long? 3 months more. After 3 months more, what happened inside the packet? The tobacco leaf absorbs the aroma from the ingredient. It's over fermentation, okay? Important. And after 3 months, when we open the packet and we touch and we feel a little bit dry, so family, now is the moment for the coffee, okay? Important, first element of the explanation. Where we have here the real coffee plantation, behind the mountain. From here, lost this quality and take this way, dry. In this moment, when the coffee being so, take a seat. Take a seat whatever you want.
And this is very dangerous in the hand of the wife. The finger of the husband.
Oh, yes.
The finger.
I already know this is not going to taste good, but
Tonight, just the
I'll try it anyway, but it's not going to be good. Oh, and it's hot too.
Now, family, enjoy the moment, taste, and tell me after what you think about the coffee.
You really need like one of this.
Production of honey, of course. But where we have here the beehive inside the coffee plantation, remember, behind the mountain. Why in that part? Because it's far from here. If we have the beehive in this part of the farm, many people like you come here. You know, the bees are a little bit dangerous. They need the quiet place for making your work. Here, normally we have 2 kinds of honey. Why 2 kinds of honey? Because in Cuba we have summer all the year. You see now it's winter in Cuba. You see that it's really hot, and we have flowers all the year. Because we call honey from winter and honey from summer. Okay? In winter, what kind of flower you can find in Cuba? Coffee, banana, pineapple, black beans, potato, sweet potato. At the end of the process, when we filter, when we clean the honey takes like a yellow color here. When you taste, it's not too sweet. And when you put inside the bottle, the plastic bottle, it's more dense, it's not liquid. Okay? Honey from summer, change the color and change the taste. Because in summer, you find other kind of flower, for example, avocado, mango, guava, sugar cane, I think it's sweeter. Take this color, a bit more dark, brown, but inside, like a water, liquid. Two things, because don't have sugar inside. You can put a spoon of sugar inside. After 2-3 days, it's more dense. But also, you see the weather, the temperature is really hot. Take the bottle of honey and put inside the fridge. After 2-3 days, it's more dense. Maybe in the United States, it's the same, but here in Cuba, when we buy honey from the store, inside the glass, you move too dense. But also, when you taste it, too sweet, it has sugar inside, because it's after industrial process. But here, we have coffee, but real coffee beans, honey, real honey from the real beehive, and cigar from the real tree. Okay? Now, in this moment, you can smell. Now I'm going to open the bottle, you can smell. If you want, you can taste with a little bit of your finger. It's really hot. Now also, in our last summer,
it is very
liquid. We had a few times, not all the day, or not all the days, 44 degrees. I think it's really hot. But now in winter, and you see...
Too sweet?
No, it's not too sweet. It doesn't have that weird honey taste.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I actually don't love the honey taste. I like it, but I don't.
About the honey. Many people told me, I don't know the truth, but many people told me sometimes the honey is like an aphrodisiac. I don't know the truth. I have to try, okay? For us, it's like a tradition, it's like a custom. When we smoke our cigar, we do with honey.
Dip it in honey?
You don't know how it's?
I know, I've heard of it, yeah.
No.
But you don't know how?
No, I don't know.
No, I don't know. Show us everything. We're babies.
I don't know anything.
This is my first cigar.
At the end. Wait. At the end, so I'm going to show you how you can smoke. Because honey, for us, it's like a natural filter.
Okay.
Don't let your lips, but also the taste inside your mouth change. I think softer. You have to try at the end. Wait. Okay.
But then you gotta get nice one.
I know.
Right.
He is like
Now, family medicine. Ron, of course. But ron, no, I told you before, it's like a liquor from guava. You know, family, normal guava fruit. Normal guava, you can eat, you can make a juice, you can make a jam, but full size around this size. Yellow outside, when you open, when you cut inside, you find different colors, sometimes pink, red, white, and many seeds inside. But here in Pinal de Rios, in Viñales in specific, we are around 10 farmers and we have two kinds of guava. We have normal guava and we have guayabita. Guayabita means in Spanish language, a small one. Let me show you. Family, you know, in Cuba we say salud. Salud. Cheers. Salud. Tell me again, tell me. Arriba. Arriba. Abajo. Al centro. Adentro.
Someone look at me in the eyes, please.
honey dip. Wow, that's a great thing.
The cigar family is not for eat, it's only for smoke.
This is a lot of work.
Remember, family, don't inhale only in your mouth and out.
You're gonna be real sad if you inhale it.
Many people like him, you know smoke, but you don't know maybe how you can smoke cigar. You can take with your teeth. Okay? Close your mouth. But when you inhale, strong. And remember, don't inhale, don't inside, only your mouth and out. In the same way, you don't need to remove the cigar. No, in the same way. 2, 3, 4 times. Okay? Who's the
How's
next?
that, Mark?
Crazy. Also because the honey protects
So move that honey around.
Did not know that. I'll put that in the...
Yes.
It has nothing.
On the top and down around the cigars.
Why do we do this? It protects from what?
Yes.
From what?
Lips. From what?
From what?
Oh, wait.
From what? Burn?
Yes.
From burn?
Too hot.
Oh, good.
No, I know. That part. Okay, that part.
Readiness.
Okay. I don't know what I'm doing, by the way.
I'm sure especially.
I don't.
First time,
I don't.
first time.
Yes, I don't understand.
The beginning is first time.
Yeah, I don't understand why you would smoke anything and not inhale it. This makes no sense.
This is the cigar. You enjoy when you smoke cigars.
We'll see.
Yeah. Use your tooth. Close your mouth. And now strong.
But you like
Strong and spill. Yes, but stronger.
that's why like it calms me down when I feel like a...
That's the problem. It doesn't have almost any nicotine.
You have to do but miss stronger.
Extra mile.
Don't inhale. Don't inhale, okay? One more time.
And that's where I'm
90% of the nicotine, and in the fermentation process, the rest of the...
Yes, miss. Okay.
I need this one.
They lose.
Yeah, same.
Why do I do it? The rest of the nicotine.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, usually I don't get past...
Family, next.
I'm confused. I need to watch it. Why is this enjoyable?
I don't know.
Don't be smart. Remember, strong.
Enjoy yours.
Wow. Good.
I always said,
One more time. It has more...
like tropical.
Okay, let's taste the line.
They receive
Okay.
Let
me see that.
Cigars also make me feel crazy.
I mean, this just feels like pretend.
You're fake smoking?
Yeah.
If you smoke that whole thing, you're gonna feel like you just like
it doesn't
10
cost them
shots of
anything.
espresso. If you're my brain chemistry.
I don't know. This just feels like pretend.
And bottom part. Now I'm going to make the same size Monte Cristo number 2. I'm going to use 4 leaf. How we mix, how we divide. We take from the bottom part like a filler, 2 leaf. 1 leaf from the middle part like a binder, the next part. And 1 leaf from the top part like a wrapper, the last part of the cigar. Now we join filler, binder, and wrapper, and we get 1 cigar.
I don't like have horses or anything. No horse for a while. You just don't fight it.
Well, we were.
I can barely reach the stirrups on this shit. Oh yeah, they didn't adjust it so long for you. That's terrible. Nah, bro, cause like my legs were bent the same way that I know, dude. That's the entire ride because I got my knees like at my arm. Right. I'll carry you. We're equal now. Oh, it's a bar.
Oh my god. Más bonitos.
Hola.
Really lucky. This is the first European I have brought since 2018. It was destroyed and the pathway to really hard to get here. So
We're the first.
Yeah, since 2018.
We're the first group.
Since 2018.
We come here, we push them.
Hay lugares que te tomas que no.
Sunday morning in Viñales.
Maybe it'll be okay. No.
Nobody in line for Aeromexico. So the question is, was it super empty like that because my flight takes off in 2 hours? Or is it just because there are so few tourists here? Funny thing is, I remember being here in 2018 and the lines were out the door. I'm just blown away how few people there are here. This is wild.
VIP access here, but I don't think they're doing it.
So here I am waiting for my flight at the Cuban Jose Marti International Airport in Havana. I was a little nervous that something might be up because when I finally had access to Wi-Fi and I was gonna try and check in, Aeromexico was like, girl, check-in is closed. Last time I was here, the only option you really had was to check in at the airport. You had to get to the airport like all these hours early, so I was concerned getting here just a couple of hours early, whether or not I'd be able to check in. I was. There was literally no line, which is a big change from when I was here before, but that just speaks to the low number of tourists that are here. They're really, I'm not gonna say there are no tourists, because obviously I'm here, but there are very few. We drove back from Viñales this morning. The day we spent in Viñales was action-packed. Really, really enjoyable. We heard from a local mom about, you know, how she has to source food and the issues she has with availability. We visited a tobacco farm where they also grow coffee and they raise bees. We went for a horse ride, saw an incredible sunset. It was a really great experience all the way around. I am glad that things worked out and I actually got to come back into the country because remember, it was looking doubtful that they were going to let me in. I enjoyed this trip a lot. It has definitely lit a fire in me to make sure that when I get back to Mexico, I actually take some action about improving my Spanish. I think I'm going to try and find an area out of the city, a place where there are no foreigners, where I have to speak and I have, you know, maybe take a month, spend some time maybe in Oaxaca somewhere and focus on my Spanish. So that's one thing this trip has done for me. My previous trip was very much touristic and I didn't really get to interact with Cubans the way I did on this trip. And so that's been incredible to really get to talk to people and see how they are doing life every day under these conditions. Will I come back? Maybe. I really would like to see better conditions for the people here. I don't know if that's ever going to be possible. What else do I want to say? Oh, let me tell you about my little adventure, or one of the issues you need to be aware of if you're coming to Cuba. I remember from last time that the, you know, like food options at the airport were very minimal. And that's typical if you go into any store, any place, especially things owned by the government. There's not going to be a lot of stuff a lot of stuff on hand. So like at the airport, you're limited to stuff like a ham and cheese sandwich, maybe a little bit more than that. But I was in the duty free. I have never bought duty free in my life, but I wanted to get some rum. Found it. I've got USD on me. Made a point not to have Cuban pesos because they're going to be pretty much useless to me when I leave. Go in there. Of course, they don't accept American cards. That's a given. But basically, if you wanted to pay cash, you needed euros or Cuban or Canadian dollars. They wouldn't even accept Cuban pesos if I had them. But the prices were posted in USD. That's the most bizarre thing ever. And I'm really kicking myself for not bringing my Mexican debit card because I thought about it and then I was like, girl, no. But I believe that if I'd have had my Mexican debit card, I probably could have bought it, but who knows how much it would have cost because the price would have been in US dollars. So I don't know what kind of international fees I would have been hit with, what kind of currency conversion fees, but yeah, traveling to Cuba is definitely like advanced travel, not something I would recommend for brand new travelers.